Good morning, everyone. Hope everyone's doing fine. Welcome to Three Dudes and a Lady. We are a platform hope to bring inspiration and motivation to your day. My name is Earl Rule. I'm out of North Carolina, and my gratitude for the day is bringing new ideas and inspiration to my business, and hope I can share with others.
Good morning. I'm Mike Jones from Virginia. My gratitude for the day is how small the world can be when you look at organizations that are doing good.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jay Anderson. I'm from the wild state of West Virginia. My gratitude for the day is I'm going to throw old Jay Shetty in there. He knows when to give the right topics at the right time.
Hey guys, I'm Christine Wright, hailing out of the great state of Florida. My gratitude for the day is spending quality time with my 14-year-old daughter. We had a blast. We went on a small trip, and I'm grateful to be back home, but I'm grateful that I got that time with her. And today, Jay Shetty talked about preventing overwhelm, right? What happens when our emotions are in overdrive? Your mind can feel like a runaway train, is how he put it, right? We need to manage our emotions and prevent overwhelm. He didn't say suppress them. That's not good, right? But like with anxiety, worry, and fear, and maybe we're not sure how to handle that, right? These stressful moments come from our amygdala. I don't know how to say it, but
Amygdala.
yes, amygdala. There we go. Thanks, Mike. The prefrontal cortex is the other part of the brain that can actually direct thoughts and decision making, right? So we need to direct our thoughts and decision making to that instead of the worry, stress, and anxiety, right? And the way that we engage the prefrontal cortex is when overwhelm takes over, it puts us in like a thinking mode or a distraction mode, right? His example was one of his friends was there was a fire coming closer to her house, right? Each day, some days it would feel like it was engine there. Some days it would feel like it was sprinting there, right? She could see the smoke in the air and things like that. So, yeah, which is very stressful. Don't get me wrong. But if we can engage our prefrontal cortex, that's going to help keep us in like a thinking mode or distraction, right? And he talked about experiencing the emotions and not suppressing them, but we can't let them run us, right? We need to go into like a problem solving mode or find some sort of distraction. It like provides us a different perspective, right? And how do we react when our emotions become loud, right? And you guys, I experienced something similar while we were gone. I wasn't staying in the greatest of neighborhoods. It was just me and my daughter, and I was a little overwhelmed, a little panicked because when I got to the house, it was 11 o'clock at night and we were supposed to get there at 7, but traffic had a different plan for us. And when we got there, I was very overwhelmed and panicked and I couldn't sleep. I didn't sleep the whole time we were there. And I could have used this, right? I definitely could have used this before the trip, but how do we do that, right? Like, have you guys ever experienced like a overwhelm where you didn't know what to do and something distracted you and it kind of like gave you a little bit of peace or comfort, right? Have you guys ever?
Yes. Listen, I think the truth of the matter is this can be a very personal subject because a lot of times uh, when that overwhelming feeling comes up, generally speaking, it's a touching situation a lot of times. And for me, I'll be a little transparent. Uh, the last 6 months, I have had this feeling pretty much most of the time. Uh, when my father passed away and left some businesses still running that have to have attention. And I'm the one in the family that's having to do the attention. So I think there are times that the overwhelming feeling of what to do next can be quite crippling. You know, you fail to take action because you're so overwhelmed, you don't know what action to take. And you allow sometimes your mind can fire in so many different directions at one time. Failure to maybe try to organize those emotions is very crippling, and I have felt that, and it's a feeling that I don't care for. I'm assuming that most people don't like feeling overwhelmed, but it's very real. And sometimes it just takes a sounding board, such as this platform, to help release that. Uh, even even actually just speaking of the subject is very gratifying. And I wish it on no one for sure. But sometimes my emotions get tied up in a knot, and it's like I don't have a path to lean towards, or to it. Choosing goals can be difficult because when you think one thing's important, all of a sudden your mind allows you to think, well, wait a second, this is important. No, wait a second, this is more important. No, wait a second, this is important. And you're trying to figure that out. I like some of the advice, you know. Uh, One of them was to tackle it basically head on. And when Jay Shetty says, try to go into a solving mode. And I think that that's true. And sometimes it is as simple as what he says: get up, go take a shower, get dressed. It's the action of starting something. And you have to push yourself a little bit to make that start. You have to get past the negative emotions that has caused something to be overwhelmed. And I I get it. I recognize it. It is real. But I am using positive emotions and things that we talk about here to allow me to overcome those negative emotions. So once again, I have ball hogged my time, so I'm yielding to other people here.
Earl, Mike.
Christine, I know you've been off most of the week. You were on their trip. But I want to reiterate that something that was said at Sunday at my church, and this was actually said last night at the men's fellowship, and it's worth, I think it bears repeating. When we're on our path, if we feel we're overwhelmed with decisions and things on our path that we're making, the term guardrails was used multiple times. Are we setting guardrails in our path, even though we're going to go through obstacles of overwhelmness, decisions to make, what priorities to make? I think we still need to use those guardrails. And I mean, we're not going to use the word guardrails on the street over here. We're talking about the guardrails on our path. They're used to guide us so we don't fall off the path. They're there to teach us a lesson. Okay, so example for this, like if you're overwhelmed with a decision, if you're in a situation like Christine said, if you're in a rough neighborhood, but you have decisions to make with you and your family, all right, you got to set up boundaries for yourself, emotional boundaries. You got to know your worth and follow that path to where it is, and don't let distractions get to you. A lot of times it's better said than done, but I think it can be a very tough thing to work with. But if we're setting up our own boundaries or guardrails to follow this, what we're trying to get to, and sometimes slow and steady wins the race as far as what we're trying to achieve, we could get there. It's not going to be easy. Nobody said it was going to be easy, but we'll get there.
For sure. Love that. Love the guardrails. Like, so true. Mike?
So the amygdala versus the prefrontal cortex, right? Amygdala is fight or flight. It's kept us alive for tens of thousands of years because we were encountering danger. The prefrontal cortex is logic, so if you try to let logic take over, and an example could be your trip. You were in a strange place. May not have been the safest place, but you were away from the comfort of home, and
And I was the only one in charge.
you push through. And it's like we get overwhelmed in our business sometimes. Like you've got prepare for client presentations, book appointments, and sometimes it's like, and sometimes the right decision is to, just go check the mailbox, get out of the four walls, and move on and come back to it, because sometimes the path gets clearer as you look at it from the rearview mirror and then turn around.
And
Yeah.
Mike,
Go ahead, Earl.
I was say, Mike, what you just said, and also when you prepare for clients' appointments, prepare for the unexpected when you're having that conversation with that client, because they may throw something at you that catches you off guard, and no one had to prepare for that, especially when you're relatively, I don't want to say young or new to the business, but having. Go ahead, Jay.
That's most of the time, by the way, Earl.
Yeah.
Right. I know, but what I'm saying is that's just a clear example of what he was just talking about.
One thing that I've tried to do, and I've really worked hard on this, and I think Christine, you're the one that really brought it to the forefront early on in us getting to know one another. But time blocking a calendar is a guardrail. It is a form of guardrail. Okay, and I I think, Earl, you and I've already talked about the guardrail portion separately, but I will tell you that it is very instrumental for people like me. I'm a very procedural type person. Uh, you guys know I take notes like crazy. It's just what I do. And maybe it's to help for me to, it's another way for me to remember things. It's also another way for me when I write it as I'm listening, I absorb better. So time blocking a calendar is something that, and it's funny that we're even discussing this because um, I don't know, 2 or 3 nights ago, I was telling my wife that I needed to tighten my schedule. By that I meant I really needed to go in and start really carving time out on my calendar and actually writing down things. So, as Jay Shetty says, taking action, get something as simple as getting up, taking a shower, and things. I started listing things on my calendar that have to get done, and I've gone ahead and just put them on there. So the calendar is a hodgepodge of my business, my dad's two businesses, my personal life. It's a hodgepodge, but it allows me to have a flow of something, and that something sometimes, sometimes I'm not sure what the end game. I feel like I know what the end game is and what I'm trying to accomplish, but getting from A to B can be a little blurry. And that blurry, that's where I need the help. And it is the take that action mode that I have to get myself into. That's me. Everybody has different ways, but and I only share this because, man, I needed to hear this today. It's a swift kick in the butt reminder that you have to pay attention, and you have to pay attention to your own emotions. If not, you're going to find yourself in a stupor, and you don't want that negativity just to eat away at you. Negativity can alter the mindset in such a powerful way that we got to be cautious about it, because if we're not, that could take us in a downward spiral.
For sure.
And I am guilty of self-induced overwhelm and anxiety. And going back, because you're talking about the calendar, if it's a set appointment, I'm gonna freak out if I'm a minute late, right? But if it's just something like, oh, this is time to do things, and it may say I'm going to do it at 10, and at 10:30 I still haven't started. It's like, and I started beating myself up mentally, and like, okay, just
Yeah, because a lot of times that little stuff, the not the appointments, but the other stuff, right? The other blocks that we have aren't necessarily, we don't treat them as important, even though they probably are, right?
probably
Because,
more important.
yeah, because a lot of it is to fill our cup or just the mundane tasks that we have to get done, right? And then all of a sudden we feel like we're playing catch up. And that's where the overwhelm usually sets in, right?
And
Mm-hmm.
it is, you're 100% right. It is so self-induced. It's nuts. And the triggers that create that sometimes, and I feel like most humans go through, I think it's natural that the triggers that happen allow our brain to enter the I'm overwhelmed state. And it's those that we have to learn to manipulate, and pay attention to. So good subject.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, on yesterday's call that we were all on, we were talking about activity, and the guy on the call said his record for dials in a day was 632.
Mm-hmm.
How much? How many?
632
$632.
in a day.
What happened to the $250 when we first started a week?
Oh, those are gone. Those days are long gone.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Wait,
sometimes I
okay,
still
wait a second.
struggle with that. So,
Wait, okay, so let's do some math here. So 632 dials. How many, like, is he using like a ninja dial? Because on average, we dial 35 dials an hour, right?
On average, yes.
Without anything. That's
Yeah.
18 hours of dialing
Woo!
in a day. So he must be using something, like some other dialing thing where he can dial faster.
You have to, because the 632 out of those dials, you're going to talk, even if it's just a handful of people, that takes time. You get into that conversation, that takes time. And I'm with you, Christine. When I always heard people throw out these crazy dial numbers, I'm like, oh, come on.
I
Are we
guess my point is his prefrontal cortex was in total control.
Yeah. Yeah, there was no overwhelm from him. It was just logical.
His amygdala could just shrug it. I mean, it's
Yeah.
already the size of a walnut, but it just shrugs like a little bit bigger.
For sure. Yeah, he was just logically thinking, and he already had this decision made that he was going to make this many dials, and that's what he did, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it can be done. Like, I'm with you. Ninja Dollar. I tell you what, I tried that once, and it's power. I mean, it just clicked as soon as you hit hang up, and you don't have time to think. You just gotta okay, roll it, and just you get used to it at first, because it does take a little time. Okay, this is this person's name. This is the state that they're in. Roll it, and it just keeps going. So from that standpoint, yes, I can see the numbers there. But if you're manually doing it, 35 is the max within an hour.
Yeah.
And that's not even really speaking to anyone. That's just no answers.
Facts. Yeah, but good point, Mike, because you're right. His prefrontal cortex was in complete control. So he didn't necessarily look at the outcome. He was more interested in the process of what he was doing. Because a lot of times if we focus on the outcome, that could be our overwhelm.
I think you need to focus more on the activity, what you put in, as opposed to what the outcome. You don't focus on the
Easier said than done, right? Easier said than done.
I know it's easier said than done, but if you try to focus on the outcome, there's I'd say a 60% chance that it's gonna fall on your face.
Hence,
Focus on what you can control.
Right.
hence the phrase, put one foot in front of another.
Exactly.
For sure.
Do you want to pull the cart or do you want to push the cart?
Yeah.
And
Oh
you
man, I can
can't
see
push
some
or
funny
roll.
lines coming after that. I'm stop. I'm will stop. Guys, I think it's easy to see that we're not licensed therapists. We do share a lot of our own personal feelings on this platform. And it's nice to have a platform to where you can do that. But we hope when we're sharing these uh, ideas or things, personal things that we've been going through, that you understand is for the sole purpose of trying to grow ourselves, trying to learn from it. It's not that we want to share to everyone out there what we're going through, other than we're hoping for personal development out of this. So that's one reason we like to do it for you, everyone, is it's okay to speak out loud. And sometimes it's nice to have that group to allow that to take place. Please listen to us on a daily basis. With that, I'll say please like, share, subscribe. Peace.
Deuces.